Welcome back everybody, this is Awais back with another video on the channel. Today we're going to talk about IONIC Sudio. Now you guys have seen my IONIC Framework Complete course and a lot of you guys have liked it, and I would like to say thank you for that. And today I'm bringing back another video, but today I'm actually going to build a mobile app without writing any code. The reason for that is I have a software which I actually just tried out the last 2 days, and it's basically an IDE built by IONIC team called IONIC Sudio, and they have a headline here on their website, lightning fast app creation, and we're gonna find out if it's true or if it's not true. Okay, so this basically is not a free IDE. I'm gonna go to see pricing, and it's a paid $129 per month. And you might be wondering if it's a sponsor video, or no, it's not a sponsor video. It's just that I bought IONIC Sudio because I wanted to build an app very fast, and turns out I like few things in it, but there are things that are not ready or not polished yet. So we're gonna talk about those things. So IONIC is basically free open source MIT licensed framework, and it's really popular, and it helps you to build cross-platform apps really quickly and easily. So here we have IONIC Sudio. I'm going to open up. I'm using a Mac. This software is pretty identical on Windows as well. So we got the IONIC Sudio up and running. Now this is the welcome screen that you see when you start IONIC Sudio. On the file menu, we can see we can create a new window if we want to have like two projects running at the same time. And the start a new IONIC project window is opened up automatically for me. So let's create a new project, and let me walk you through how you do it. So once you see this this window, you type a name for your project. So I'm just gonna name it test app. And for the bundle ID, so you're gonna have to find out what's gonna be a bundle ID. So I'm gonna do com awais mirza.test app. Okay, after that I will have to choose where I want to store for this app. So I'm just gonna go to development, and I'm going to create a new folder. I'm gonna name it demo projects. So let's just say demo projects. And inside this, I'm going to create this test app. Now here we get to choose a template. So I can use the side menu, tabs, or blank template. I would like to start with the side menu, and I will click on create project. Now I'm just going to close this window, guys, and let's maximize this. Now, as you can see, it has a built-in terminal, and it's installing packages. Also, it's actually created all the project files for us. Now it's running npm. So there's an error with npm. It says permission denied. So for that, I will have to go to my own terminal probably and install all those. But let's take a look at what are the options available. So once your project is created, you can see the side menu template gives you this home page and a list page. We have a two section, component and page. You can create a new page by clicking on this new page button. We'll come back to this. First of all, let me fix this npm install stuff, because if I'm going to run this app by clicking on this play button, and I can run on emulator or I can just serve on a browser, I'll just serve it, and it's gonna open up a mobile looking app. But in the terminal, you can see ng has unexpected closed, blah blah blah. There's a problem with our npm. So what I'll do, I'll open up a new terminal, and I will make sure that I'm in that folder. So I'll type npm install, and if it still gives me these permission issues, then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the sudo before npm and type my computer password. So I make sure, yep, it's a permission error for some reason. Sudo npm install, and I'll type the password now, and this time it's going to install all the packages. There's a reason why my account on the Mac doesn't have access to this development folder. So every time I create a project, I had this issue. So yeah, now I've got the permission, it's installing. Then after that, we are going to serve our application. The UI for this software is pretty nice. You have this, sidebar. You have this button to add features, so you can add page, service, component, add directive, route guards, and pipe. So everything is automated, but you can still go to the code, where if you click on this button, you'll see the whole, side menu with the folder structure in your files. I'm gonna keep to a compose section. So all of our dependencies are installed. I'm gonna close the terminal and let's go and click on serve. It's open up the terminal automatically, and the command it's running. You don't have to memorize these commands. It's fairly easy to just, click on that serve button, and that's it. And we'll wait for this to run our application. Okay, as you can see, now my app is running in the container, and it's looking like it's a phone. So it's not a pure browser. You don't get to see a Chrome menu bar or anything like that. So I can switch between. And according to me, what I realized that the app is very smooth. When you run in this kind of container, it's kind of smooth. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this on a side, and we can just reduce the size of this, but let's walk you through first what are the options available. So here I have a home page. I'll click on the home page, and guess what I get? So I get this canvas. I'm just going to just put it here, and instead of using this, I'm going to actually change the model to iPhone 8, and I'm going to scale it to 75%. So I have a more space for the code. Now this is the code here that you can see. I can modify the code here. For example, it says theme your app. So I'm just going to remove this list item, and let's press Command S. And you can see, straight away changes right in the canvas. So I'm just gonna try removing all of these. Save, and there you go. And guess what? If you want to drop something here, you don't want to do a code, or you're not a developer, then what you can do is, here's the menu bar on the top. You have a general section, a list section, a layout, forms, a media type, and some user specific components. If you create, they will be visible here. Okay, so let me just undo and bring back a list header is resources. I'm just gonna keep that part. Okay, and you notice that even if I don't save, you see the changes right here. Now this is just a canvas, it's not an actual app. You notice that there's no menu toggle button here. So for that, you're gonna have to use this served app. So I'm just gonna leave that to iPhone 8, and there you go. We have iPhone 8. All the resolution and everything is automatically adjusted for you. You can go to iPad 4 generation, and there you go. That's iPad 4 generation. You can go to Galaxy S9. You can go to desktop, and yeah, everything is responsive. So you can see how your app is going to look in the specific device. Now I'm gonna go back to iPhone 8, and you notice that we have a menu bar like that. I'm gonna go to list. You have a list like this. You see the icons here, but guess what? If I change this to, let me change this to Android stuff. So let's do Google Pixel 2, and now you see a difference in your this toggle button, and you see a difference in icons as well. So it's actually replicating how your app is going to look in your actual device. which sometimes can be problematic if you're not writing a proper code using Ionic. You won't be able to, see. So I'm just gonna stick to iPhone 8. Now let's put that back. Okay, so these are basically your pre-built UI drag and drop components that you can choose from. So let's just say if I go to list and I'm going to grab this item, hold it down, and then bring it where you want to drop it. Okay, I'll let it go and the code will be automatically adjusted. So here we have an ion item with the label list item. I'm going to save this, and you already noticed that we have this list item here, and then we can see that list item in our app as well. So there you go. I didn't have to type any code. All I did is just select the list item and drop that. Let me just and now also you can select the item in the code and that will be highlighted in the canvas. So if I hover over here, you see that blue line here that's getting highlighted, which means that you are currently in a selection of ion label. I can change that to an item, a different blue line. Now one thing that I really like about this is that once I select any component or directive here, so let's just say an item, you see this bar here on the sidebar, you see it changes. So let's just go back to the documentation of Ionic. So let me just go here and we go to developer and we go to UI components. Now I'm gonna go to ion item. Let me just find that for you guys. So here's the ion item. Now here you need to know the coding. You need to have a basic understanding of how Angular and Ionic work to be able to use IONIC Sudio 100%, because there's still going to be times where you need to know what the thing do. So here in ion item, I have clickable events, detail arrows, and right down here we have some let me just go down. These are some sample code that you can copy paste. There you go. So here we have some properties. Is this the button? Is this the color or detail? Or if you're using VS Code or WebStorm, you're gonna have to come here in the documentation and figure out or find out what's available for that particular component. So here I see a detail icon or disabled. Now I'm gonna go back to IONIC Sudio and I would like to find a disabled here. There you go. Now all I have to do is just click on this toggle button, and that thing will basically make it disable. So you understand what disable do, but you might not know if it's available to you or not. But here you see all the properties that possibly you can apply to that kind of element. So for example, in the p tag, there is nothing here because p tag is a plain HTML. But if I select this ion list header, I see a difference. So I can select the theme from here. Let's just say probably territory, and there you go. And that you don't need to know the code. If you do, that's better, because you can debug right in the code here if there is a problem or if there's a bug in this IDE. And also let's take a look at this title. I'm gonna change the theme to success. Nah, I don't like it. I like the dark one. Okay. So yeah, that's what we've done so far in this change. Now I'm gonna save this. Next, we are going to take a look at this code side. Here you see a template, and then we have three more options here: style, scripts, and module. Now you can go to these files if you know Angular and Ionic. If you click on this, it'll give you this plain VS Code type IDE. You can go to source, app, and then here's a home page, and then you click on this HTML for home, you can go to the home document just by clicking on these files. You know, you usually do when you're writing a code. But yeah, if you want to use this, there's no point to get this, okay? You want to buy this IONIC Studio just because you like this pre-built UI. This sidebar gives you all the properties and methods available for you, and also switching between these files very easy. Now I'm going to click on these pages. That's going to take me here. I'm going to right click and delete this page. Let's just go and delete this page. I'm going to click on the add new page, and here it gives me input field where I can type the name of the field. So I'll just say test, enter, and it's going to generate a page for me. Now I'm going to click on this page, and now let's do some you know, practice here for pre-built custom UIs. So first of all, let's bring up some layouts. I'm gonna drop a card here. So you can either drop it in a code, which is not ideal, but you can drop in the canvas as well. There you go. I've got a drop. I'm just going to double click on this, and instead of touching a code, I'm going to change the text here. So I'm saying this is the text for card, which is built with IONIC Sudio. Enter, and you'll see the text right there. That's cool, yeah? Now I'm going to change the title. I'm just going to double click on the card and then get inside into text. I'll change that to test card, enter, and that gets changed as well. So there's a problem. As you can see, there's some sort of like a bug in the IONIC Studio. Sometimes it just not, you know, write the proper code. So basically, it's actually writing a code for you. It's not dynamically creating these and it's going to compile. It's actually dynamically creating a code for whatever you drop on your canvas. It creates the code for it. And sometimes you might find some places where this thing is not working. I've been using this for like a few days now, and it's very helpful if you want to build an app very quickly and prototype it, and then you don't have to worry about the UI, responsiveness and everything. It saves you a lot of time, but you definitely need to understand the code as well. Sometimes this won't fix the problem, then you will have to go into the code and fix it. It'll be quicker for you to do. So I'm just gonna save this. Now here we have an ion card title, but now there is no closing tag for it. So I'll just manually close that and save it. And there you go, I fixed the problem. So for the subtitle, I can click on this text and it will change the sidebar to exactly what I want to do. So I'll say, this is the subtitle, enter, and there you go. There is another issue here. So it actually moved this closing subtitle at the bottom, which basically not a problem for now. But if I save this, it will have the, you know, by title here. So again, I'm gonna undo, and then I'm going to go and change the title again. I'll say subtitle test, and then I will just save it, and let's not enter, but just go down. So here it's not doing what it's supposed to do because I was here and it wrote this text here. So I'm gonna make sure I'm going to go inside this card subtitles. I'll just remove this subtitle and let's just move away, and that's it. Once you press enter, that's when it causes an issue. Right, that's good. And then let's try some more stuff. So we got a card. I can build a grid here. So let me just bring the grid here. Now I can see visually. Let me just zoom in 100% now, so it's better to see for you guys. So you can see the grid, these dotted lines here. So it's showing me visually how the grid is going to look like. Now I'm going to add another row. So let's bring up the row here and let's put it right at the bottom. There you go, another row. Let's put another row at the bottom. Okay, and now I'm going to grab, let's just say input field, and I'm going to put that input field inside this row. Okay, and then we'll grab this select. I'm going to put that here. Okay, let's save the file and let's just see that if we do have an input field there. So I'm just going to click on this and then let's find out in the code if it actually put down our input field somewhere. So let me just bring up this. Now it's causing an issue because the list module is not available. So again, you're gonna have to know the Angular. So let's go to the code here. I'm gonna open the module, and then here it's looking for probably nothing. It actually did fix that. Once you delete the page, it actually does its job. So all I have to do is just serve our application again, because the problem was the file wasn't there and the current session was looking for it. So see, another benefit of using this IONIC Studio. Okay, now another thing I will show you here, right here. If you click on this button, you will open a debugger. You can go to the console and you see what's going on here if there is an error that you want to look at. So I'm going to go to routing module, and here is a list that's not right. So I'll just save the file and let's try running it again. So it did remove that import from our app module, but when I go to routing module, it didn't actually remove that. It might have an import right on top as well. Nope, it didn't have an import. There you go, our application is back. I can go to list. Doesn't really go to list anymore. So what I want to do is go to our app component. So here in the pages, we can select the component, and here's our app component. And it won't show you the stuff here because the app component is like a container. So I'm going to go to scripts, and here instead of list, I'm going to change that to text, and then change that to text. I'll leave the title as, text. Now let's go to back our page. Let me go to home page. That's the home page. Let's go to text page. Let's save everything. I'm gonna file menu and let's save everything. Let's bring up our application. Now I'm gonna click here and click on text. It's gonna take me to the test. Now here I have this, selection box. I should have this input field there. So one thing we'll do now, I'm going to select this input field. It's very hard to see where is that input field, so that's the one, because we don't have anything. So I'll select that input field here, and I can see all the properties. So I don't have to go to this ion input somewhere here. That will have lots of properties and methods, a lot of things that you need to do by hand. So as you can see, autofocus clear. So what I'll do, I'll change the appearance. So let's turn on clear input. That will show us a button to clear the input. We'll do autofocus, okay, and then autocorrect. No, I don't want to do that. Theme color, let's just do probably, I'll leave that for now. What I'm looking for is something appearance. Okay. Set focus. Yep, make it required. We'll do a name if you want to do a max value that you can type it in. Get input element, yes. We can do a debounce here. So let's just say this color. Okay, let me save it and let's bring up our application. And now I'm gonna click here. Now we have that color and we can see the button here appearing. Okay, and we can put that into an item. So if I just go to this item here, I'm gonna put the item there. Did it put it? Nope, it didn't really have that. So let's just create an ion item. Okay, and then let's just put that. Let me just put that up. Let's save it. Okay, so now we got that in item, and for the item, I'm going to select the color, like probably, let's just do warning. Okay, and we can do a bit of, nah, don't worry about the padding, but you see all of these properties that you can use in your style file. This is not an IONIC tutorial, guys. This is why I'm saying I'm just showing you how to use this. Okay, let's save this file, and there you go. We have some sort of line. I can click on that and I can start typing, and I should have that button there, which is like probably hidden somewhere. Okay, so let's quickly go through. I'm going to delete few things here. So I've deleted the whole grid. So here is like button, column, grids, and cards that you can create. You can have a separate column, but obviously you need to know IONIC. The rows and column goes inside a grid. You probably will be able to use this. That wouldn't really work because that's not the way you use IONIC. So if I drag and drop the row, it says not, I'm not gonna let you put it here. So you see, you don't really make any mistake. Now let's go to a form. So we can have a checkbox here. There you go, checkbox. Let me delete that because that's not really nice. Input field, radio field, a range that you can drop that in. And I'm gonna save this, and let's go here. And there you go, we got the range there. Now what I'm going to do to show you these elements, I'm going to create a card. Okay, cards are great. And inside the card, I'm going to get rid of this text, and also let's leave the header there. So let's put something like, let me put the search bar here. There you go, we got the search bar. And then after that, I'm going to use some sort of toggle button, probably, like, let's just put it here. Okay, it didn't put it because I wasn't placing it properly. There you go, that automatically, you know, had this responsive UI fixed. We can do a text area like that, and then I'm going to use some sort of like a checkbox here. Okay, and the checkbox will have some sort of like a text because it's a plain checkbox, so you can type it in text right next to it if you want to. Let's save everything and let's visualize it. So we got the card here, we got the toggle button, there you go. We have a search field where I can start typing, that's good. I have this, you know, iPhone looking, you know, checkbox. If I change this to Google Line Pixel, and let's go to test page, and there you go, different UI, guys, for Android. Okay, so pretty much I don't want to, you know, spend more time on today's. Here's, you have some media. I can put in an image here, click on this, and you see the properties here if you want to, you know, have a href, like, you know, a link to the image, what's going to happen on the click. So I can add, you know, a function name which will be, you know, called. So yeah, and then a few things that if I click here on some sort of, let me click some stuff here. Oops, undo. And here we have Angular section. So you can have your expressions or logics here for ngIf, ngFor, ngClass, and ngStyle. So you can say render only if something is true or something is like false, if you even want to render. So it's up to you. So I'm going to click on the code. Let's get rid of this toggle and let's get rid of this text area. I don't need an image. Let's get rid of the checkbox here. Let's save it. And now I'm going to try a few other things. We've seen forms, we've seen media. It's like a video, audio, or another kind of source. Text that you can paste, headings, paragraphs, spans. And let's go to general. A general is where you find a lot of things. For example, you would like to make a page with a segment here. So I'm just gonna drop a segment here. And then once we have this segment, and inside this segment we can have more columns. So let me just change this enemies to segment A. And you could also go to side menu if you don't want to touch the code. Up to you. I can click on friends, double click on it, and it'll take you to this text, and you can change this to segment B. Okay, there you go. You got segment B here. For some reason segment A is actually gone, so we got segment B. We don't have any text in this. See, that's what happens. It's better if you can change the text from your code. There you go. Now it didn't cause any issues. So you can create the segment page, and it's up to you. Now here there's a lot of UI elements from IONIC, and you can have like a footer, and in the footer you can put stuff that you want to put in. Up to you. But again, this is really good if you want to quickly build a prototype and the coding as well. It's going to save you a lot of times by going and looking at all the properties. You can just find the property and apply things, and you can directly see that in the canvas. And also this app is actually running right next to your IDE all the time. So what I'll do is I'll just probably leave that as here, and then just close this one, and I can bring the properties panel here, and then I'll basically work with the code, and then I'll see stuff happening. And if I really need to use this IONIC Studio, then I'll bring this up here and then use the UI, and that's it. Now here a lot of elements, like you can choose these CSS variables. You can go to script file and start accessing these variables there. Your script file, which is basically your TypeScript file, is here. A module is here. And now this is great. One last thing that I will show you before I finish this video. It's already very long, guys. So if you go to the code, it becomes an IDE. If you go to the assets, here you don't have to go and copy paste assets here. You don't have to manage them. You simply go and add assets and then add them here. It will automatically be added here. You can create more folders here and move things around. Here's a theme. Now the hardest part is to develop a theme. Okay, the best part about this IDE that I've found so far is this theme option. You do your UI code, you do select your color pattern here directly, and then you might be thinking, oh, okay, I've selected the theme here. Let me just change this to secondary, and then this one to territory. Okay, let's save this. I'm gonna go to the theme option, and here I'm going to change the color for this to something like probably, let me just change that to red, or maybe I don't know, let's just use this. Okay, let's change this, and then for territory we can change the color to something greenish. Okay, or maybe this color. Oh, this is get better. All right, now I'm gonna save this, and guess what happens once you change this global level color setting? You go here and your app will actually reflect those colors. You don't have to worry about going and dealing with themes. You just gotta worry about how you going to theme your components, like what color is going to be for text for the whole app, what color is going to be for the cards for the whole app, a menu bar color, stuff like that. Okay, and last thing is the settings. So your author name, email address, website, and version for your app. Now you can add platform, like I'm using Mac right now, so I can add iOS platform, which basically will automatically configure this for me, and I would be able to run that on actual native actual emulator. I can use this Android, so let's just do add. Now it's going to run this terminal command, does its thing, Cordova platform add iOS at latest, and we will notice that once this platform is added, we could actually use this run button to run this on iOS emulator. Here we have list of plugins. Okay, you can add plugins right here. You can definitely go to IONIC Native, and here's, you have a community plugins that you can choose, and all of these commands can be done automatically by just going here, clicking on add, and that's it. You're done. You will you basically will configure stuff for you. Icon splash screen. Here usually you will go here and then change your icon for your application. So you go to this code, you go to config.xml, and then here you do your configuration, and also you will select the icon for your iOS and Android. You change stuff here. You will go to assets folder. So somewhere here we'll have assets folder, and you will rename, you will paste your icon here with the name, and then you will point out what you are basically targeting. All those Cordova commands like Cordova, build Android, build iOS can be done automatically as well. So I think the platform has been added. If I go click on run, and it's going to say, hey, I've got this platform iOS, but it says unable to retrieve little list, blah blah blah, not a developer in the path. So I will see if I have Xcode installed. Okay, unfortunately I don't have Xcode installed. This is why it's giving an error. So if I say Android Studio, yeah, that's installed. So I'll click on add Android Studio. Platform, it's taking a bit of time. Okay, that's done. If I click on run, now I have available Android. Here it says configuration would be live reload, and then you can select a device. So we have two virtual devices set up in Android Studio. I can use this Nexus 6P or Nexus 5X. I'll click on run, and then it's going to do its command line stuff I don't have to worry about, and it will actually run my code into Android emulator. It might take some time, guys, because I have not opened Android Studio for quite some time. So now it's saying Cordova build Android emulator target Nexus this exists code 1. So it actually failed. So basically I don't have this computer set up for Android or iOS. This is why it's failing, but you probably have set up your thing okay. But yeah, this platform is actually generated. So you can go to Android Studio and open this, or you can go to Xcode and open this platform. So yeah, this IDE I recommend if you want to create prototype, but it's not gonna give you an opportunity to build an app just by dragging and dropping, because you will need a service, you will need pipes, you will need directives, you will need your custom module. So you find yourself going to this button and then saying add pipe, add directive, add component, or add a service. Click on add service, name your service, and it will add. But again, I like to structure my code the way I like. Now, if you create a page by using these buttons, it will just put on your app home directory. So let's just add for demo. So I'll just say test to enter. It's gonna run the terminal command, and then you will see test2 page here. But what I like to do is create a pages folder and put all my pages or modules inside that, and then structure the code properly. This is not a free IDE again, and it's not a sponsor video. I wanted to show you the features that are possibly you could use in your app development career, and yeah, I definitely recommend it. It got really nice UI, really nice theme to work with, has some good features to quickly prototyping, and you don't have to worry about responsiveness. And it definitely helped to see the documentation right in this panel. You see all the properties, and you can assign the function and click events. That saves a lot of time. You're gonna have to be very expert, probably made 10 apps with IONIC. Then you would really not need this because you memorize everything and you can just write the code without going to documentation. But if you have just done one app or two app, you're not really you haven't really memorized things, then you probably will benefit from this IDE. Right, this video's been going for a while now. Okay, I just shut up, and then yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a like and tell me in the comments, and then yeah, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help me out by donating, link in the description, and yeah, goodbye for now.